My name is Alena Shautsova. I'm an immigration attorney from New York. And in today's live video, we will be discussing the most recent immigration news. We're going to talk about just recently unveiled bipartisan immigration bill, immigration reform bill. However, it's not the reform that you would hope for. So, as you may be aware, the talks about this particular bill were happening for a while now, for several months now, and finally the senators revealed what is that specifically they have in mind. So today I will be giving you some thoughts, sharing some thoughts about what's going to happen with this bill. And of course, in the end, we're going to discuss your guys' questions. So please join. Don't forget to say hello. Let me know where you're watching from. And again, today we're going to be discussing the latest immigration reform proposal, latest bill, and I'll be answering your guys' questions. My name is Alena Shautsova. I'm a practicing attorney. I practice immigration in all 50 states, and I help those who are in America and overseas to resolve their immigration issues, be that employment immigration, family immigration, waivers, asylum. I represent people in court. Actually, just today in the morning, I won adjustment of status case for one of our clients. And now at night, I'm with you answering your guys' questions if you're going to have some. So don't forget to let me know where you're watching from, and let's start. So just recently, basically on Sunday, senators shared their proposal how to reform the immigration system. But this bill is mostly concentrates or speaks about border security and asylum in exchange for, if I'm not mistaken, 118 billion in aid to various foreign countries, not only Ukraine, Israel and some other countries as well, and some humanitarian needs are included in this proposal as well. So in exchange for 118 billion of taxpayers' money, senators are discussing the following proposals. Now, the recap of these proposals is taken from news sources. I personally, like probably nobody yet, saw the exact text of the bill. But here's what's happening. The main point that is being made in that bill is that the President of the United States is going to have an emergency power to shut down the border. This is the mechanism that is being proposed to address the issue of migration through the southern border. Up to 270 days, if President chooses to exercise this power, the border will be shut, meaning that nobody will be able to come in apart from 1,400 people, according to the news sources. 1,400 applicants for asylum, those who come legally, meaning through the ports of entry and using CBP1 app, and families. Once they come, those who come legally and families will have up to 90 days inside of the United States to go through the asylum process. If their asylum application is approved, they will be given employment authorization and they will be legal basically here. If not, they will be deported back, well, probably to Mexico, where they came from. Those who come illegally will be detained. They will be detained and they will be in detention throughout the time while the application for asylum most likely is being considered. I say most likely because if they don't file for asylum, they're subject to immediate removal, expedited removal. How do people end up in detention? Now they're asking for asylum, guys, and that's why they are in detention. You may know that currently those who come through the border and if they're detained, Only if they're paroled, they're allowed to be out of the detention. If they're labeled as arriving aliens, they are not subject to bond proceedings anymore, according to the case law in the United States, and the government may legally hold them in detention, immigration detention, until the asylum claims are heard finally by immigration judge. So this new bill is going to, one more time, basically say that that's what's going to happen to those who come illegally. If you attempt to come to the United States 2 times or more illegally, you will be barred from the United States for a year. That's a new permanent bar, from what I understand. Also, the bill proposes to get rid of the practice of catch and release. Catch and release is when immigrants who come without any status, without any parole or visa, being caught by ICE, but then released typically back to Mexico, bordering country, without paperwork, without being placed in expedited removal proceedings. Now the bill proposes to expand detention, giving more money to detention, prisons, and basically this way it would discourage people from coming to the United States in the first place because they know they will be detained potentially for a long time. In exchange, of course, the Democrats would agree, the Republicans expected to agree to 118 billion of aid. Now, the interesting part. The minute the bill was released, there were comments by the Republicans, I believe the speaker, who stated that that's a no deal. There will be no deal. So this proposal may not become the law. If you have some other information, please share with me, and we're going to discuss it. But I just checked recent news, and from what I understand, this is just a proposal, and it has not become the law. However, if Trump comes to the office, we're going to see what's going to happen, because according to his latest promises, he's going to deport everybody. So this is where we stand with this bill. It's mostly going to affect people who are seeking asylum, number one, and who are new immigrants who are coming to the United States now. But of course, if such a bill with this negative sort of attitude towards immigration in general is going to be passed, most likely we're not going to see any positive changes anytime soon, which of course I'm personally hoping for before the elections. So we're going to see what's going to happen. Again, you can ask your questions. You please share what you think, but it seems that everything goes in a direction of making immigration system more conservative, or maybe even to say very conservative, instead of focusing on resolving inside issues that we have for immigration, such as tremendous backlogs, not enough immigration judges or asylum officers, tremendous backlogs in employment visas, right? Focusing solely on the border issue is sort of unfair and not going to improve much of the inner issues that we have in immigration. So you let me know what you think. But this is where we stand right now with this bill. This is the first thing that I wanted to share with you about. And one more thing that you need to be aware of is this. If within the next 2 months, you're going to be filing any immigration forms with USCIS, please check 2 things. Number 1, on the day of your filing, check what edition of the form you are using and submitting to USCIS, and what is the correct filing fee. Why? Because right now there will be a period of time when both filing fees and form editions are going to change. And for some forms, there will be what's called a grace period, when the immigration allows you to use the old edition, even though a new edition is out. And for some forms, it's not going to be the case. So to avoid rejections and delays in your case, sometimes those are significant those rejections are going to bring significant negative consequences, such as loss of status. Make sure that you're going to submit the right edition with the right fee. This is just a reminder for the soon-to-be filers. And now, if you guys have questions, I'll be happy to answer them. Hi, Shabir. Hi, have bona fide for U visa, can apply for travel documents. No, guys, those of you who have U visa pending cannot file for travel documents, unfortunately. All right, that's not possible, unfortunately. All right. What do we have else? Please don't be shy. Ask your questions. Now is a good time. Hi, Kushal. Hello. How many years do we get in work permit nowadays? Mine is defensive asylum work permit. For defensive asylum work permit, I mean, defensive or offensive or affirmative, it doesn't matter. The first work permit you should receive within 45 days of filing for it. But renewal is a whole different story. Renewals going to take you more than a year, sometimes around the year to receive, just so you know. So don't be alarmed if it takes a very long time. That's normal. Hi, Salman. Hi, Mido. Hi, Theresa. I've been here since 1978. I need help. Well, you definitely do. Listen, that just sounds like a long time. Usually, guys, if I meet a client, excuse me, who's been here for such a long time, the first thing that we do, we're going to check if you filed for anything previously, if you had any orders of removal, maybe you forgot about them, maybe someone tried to help you out and submitted for something, and this is the first thing that we do. Then we see what potentially you may qualify for. Since you lived here for such a long time, very often people like in your situation, similar situation, will be able to file for 245I adjustment of status if now they find an employer or there is a family member who sponsors them. We need to look at different options, maybe some ancient, what I call them, ancient reliefs that some people would qualify, like NACARA. Maybe I pronounced it wrong, but I just had somebody who received adjustment of status, green card, based on that relief. And nowadays, if you meet new immigrants, they just don't qualify for that anymore because you had to be grandfathered from a million years ago for that. So usually we check everything, and then I'll tell you what I think, depending on your personal situation. Hi, Uma Turman. Sam was right about my mom. She got so mad at me. Okay, all right. Not sure where it's coming from, but hey, why don't you ask an immigration question, all right? It deals with United States immigration. And then we can discuss movies if you'd like to, if we have time left. Hello, Tony. What is the status now of Dignity Act 2023? Yes. So I'm going to be honest with you. There is no update on that. As you just heard, perhaps if you joined us earlier, the new proposal is not considering not Dignity Act of 2023, not Citizenship Act of 2021, not DREAM Act. It focuses on the border security and tightening asylum system, making sure that people are discouraged from entering the United States because they will face potentially prolonged detention, because they will not get the benefits that they're hoping for to get. So that's what's happening currently. Hi, Mido. Registry is a solution. I cannot agree with you more. I think registry would be an awesome solution. It will be a fair solution. It will be a just solution, right? Because if you lived here and paid taxes for, let's say, 7 to 10 years, you contributed to the economy by now, you're probably not just sitting on your couch. I personally do not know any immigrants who can afford to sit and do nothing, as they say, get social benefits. No, guys, the immigrants do not qualify for the benefits apart from certain states that provide emergency Medicaid, and by now I think California is offering some healthcare coverage, immigrants don't qualify for food stamps or housing benefits or stuff like that. In New York City, new immigrants qualified for a shelter for, I think, up to 90 days now. That's it. All right, that's it. So usually you have to work, you have to pay your taxes, you have to contribute to the economy. And if you've been doing that for 7 to 10 years, if you're willing to pay a fee, right? I think it's more than fair to give people an opportunity to file for these legal papers so that they will feel more secure and they can travel with their family members, and they will qualify for what? For Social Security benefits. Because imagine you live here for decades and you're contributing to Social Security fund, but without papers, green card or citizenship, you will not be able to get anything back. Just so you know, if you haven't known that already. Hi, Farouk. Any news on SITch? Maybe at least travel document we could get. Listen, if you get SITch, you just need to wait and then file for your green card. Yes, you will have to wait for 4.5 years these days, but you will get a work permit, all right? So I don't think you would qualify for travel document while you're waiting, but the work permit, yes, you will. Hi, Sarah. Can I move travel to Hawaii? Isn't the same like when I move between any city here in the United States, like Chicago to Texas? Excuse me. I have a court located in Iowa. This is your question. Can you travel to Hawaii while you're waiting for your court date? So I have a video on my YouTube, maybe on my Facebook or somewhere else, that talks about places where you should not be going, even if they are technically in the United States, until you get your green card. Okay? Well, I'm joking. Maybe until until you get your, if you have a work permit and you're waiting for the court, you are an authorized state, but still, I would not recommend people without a green card to travel to Hawaii, Puerto Rico, Arizona, St. Thomas. Why? In all these locations, including Arizona, which is interesting because it's not an island, unlike other territories, CBP is actively checking your immigration papers. Stories after stories, how a family went to Puerto Rico is thinking it's not a big deal, it's the United States territory, blah, blah, blah. And the entire family members who have just driver's license are fine. They pick up one relative who doesn't have a green card, and immigration proceedings are starting against that relative. So listen, unless you want to end up in removal proceedings, I do not recommend these experiments. Now, your situation is such that you are already in removal proceedings. So if you have your legal ID, basically showing that you can remain here, I would suggest that you take that, your work permit and your driver's license that shows that it's valid, and you can travel within the United States, between the United States territories. You should be fine, okay? As long as you do not cross the border, such as some people make a mistake, they go to see Niagara Falls and somehow they end up on the other side in Canada. So you should be fine, all right? But if you do not have that work permit, driver's license, some sort of a protection authorized stay, just don't do that, all right? Don't do that. All right. Hi, Kazar. Hi, Yasser. Hi, Kazar. You would like to know about L1 procedure? Well, for L1, I would say there are two major L1s. L1 petition, what's called a petition by a big company for employees who are being transferred to the United States, and probably you will not need me for that. But if you are somebody who has a business overseas and would like to open a branch or other business in the United States and would like to move yourself from your home country to the United States, That's when you typically come to an attorney, immigration lawyer. And then you would learn that you would have to show that you have to have a company overseas and in the United States. The companies must have a special link between them, the same owner, or they have to be a branch of one another. And then you have to show that you have enough money to establish the business. You have a business necessity as to why you specifically have to come to the United States to work for the United States branch, and who's going to be working in your overseas company. So typically, L1 is a good solution for those who have multiple employees and can demonstrate that they need to come to the United States to develop some sort of financial, not necessarily financial, but some sort of an enterprise, but you're going to be an executive. You're not going to be a secretary. You're not going to be the only employee in that business usually, all right? That you're going to have other people doing some day-to-day management, maybe some small things, and you're going to be the person who provides the vision for the company, who directs, like a CEO, the company altogether. That's what L1 is for. For some people, it's a great opportunity. For some, it's not. For most people, E2, if possible, will be a much better deal than L1. L1 has time restrictions. L1 has, again, restrictions in terms of approval. For the first time, it will be approved for 1 year, then you have to file for extensions. So it may be inconvenient because it does require quite significant, I would say, investments. You have to have an office, you have to pay for the office here, you have to have money for the salary, including your own salary, which cannot be just a nominal fee because you have to show you can support yourself and so on and so forth. It requires significant capital, even though not as much as EB5. But E2, consider E2 is a better option, okay, if your country qualifies for E2. Hi, True Wisdom. Hi, Alena. It's now going on 15 months. You're a citizen daughter. I live in Mexico. I'm saying I cannot file an inquiry until June. Is there anything else I can do? Excuse me, guys. What can you do? Well, what's happening? Was the I-130 approved? If the I-130 is approved, then you have to submit your documents before NVC, right, to the NVC, so that they will schedule your interview. If I-130 is not approved, I would suggest that your daughter, right, who filed for you would contact a local congressman and ask them to place an inquiry on the case, okay? Because that's just a little bit too long for I-130 not to be approved. But depending on where your case is, then you're going to have a solution. If it's in NVC and it's documentary qualified, honestly, there is not much you can do. You just have to wait for the visa appointment, okay? So not sure what exactly happened. You can provide more details. Hi, Nurdi. Can you please tell us little details about background check on 400? What do you want to know about background check on N400? You will be checked when USCIS is considering your N400 or naturalization application. They will check everything, okay? They will start with the way you first came to the United States and your full immigration history. They will check for sure how you received your green card. Did you comply with all the requirements? I have so many people calling my office saying that they went for N400 interview and received a denial afterwards because USCIS stated their green card was issued in error, either because of the person's mistake or misrepresentation, sometimes without the person's fault. It was USCIS mistake. USCIS did not realize the person did not qualify for the green card. For example, in employment case, the date retrogressed and their adjustment of status application could not have been granted because the visa was not available. Or they stopped being a derivative on asylum claim because the father naturalized, and instead of fixing it, the process the right way, the family members just went on filing for asylum benefits and green cards instead of filing for first non-protonc asylum. Or a person went for naturalization interview and was accused of marriage fraud because they put wrong addresses for where they lived, and those addresses did not match with addresses the person left on their I-751 application and I-45 application that they filed when they were filing for green card and removal of conditions based on the marriage. So you will be checked, okay? In addition to that, of course, USCIS does some secretive background checks that we do not know about. I never worked for them, but I'm sure they have means and ways to check the back of your asylum story, of your SIG story, and whatever else story you presented, if they are feeling that something more needs to be done in your case. So just keep that in mind. If you have any concerns, order a copy of your file. Order a copy of your file from USCIS through FOIA. Show it to an attorney, discuss it with them, work with a lawyer on N400 application. I think that N400 is one thing that is worth investing into. It's your investment. If you win your case, you become a citizen, you have opportunity to file for different family members, siblings, for example, married sons and daughters. As a permanent resident, you cannot do that. Plus, your family members will not be subject, immediate family members will not be subject now to preference very long wait times, all right? So, yes, you will be checked. Hi, Mido Dido. I have withholding or removal. Is there any chance for change in this bill to change my status? Nope, this bill does not address that. Does not address it, unfortunately. All right. Hi, Stock Rider. Question. I was approved for advance parole on January 9th, but the post office did not deliver. Oh, I filed a service request, but still waiting. Will they produce another copy? I'm on DACA. I do not want to upset you, really do not want to upset you. This is like, I have like usually bad news about this. Guys, this is very sad. I have to tell you, recently I received so many phone calls. Post office is losing your work permit or your travel permit. USCIS is not just going to give you another one for free, okay? Because what happens is this, if a USCIS mistake, they will redo it and give it to you. But if it's not their mistake, if it's a USPS mistake, they usually don't do it for free, guys. They want you to reapply, to file for the, submit the new filing fees and so on and so forth. So in my practice, I've never seen them just reprinting it. I'll be honest with you. Maybe consider making an info pass and speaking with a field director, but I have a bad feeling. Maybe in this situation, you know, you're going to have good grounds for emergency advance parole. All right, so try that, because you will explain that it's been granted and maybe you planned some departure already, but now it's nowhere to be found, and perhaps this will help you out a little bit. But that's just so sad. I'm so sorry. Hi, Dibangang. Hi, Kinley. After a green card interview, how long will it take for a decision? Each case is different. Sometimes you're going to get a decision within 2 to 3 days, guys. Your online status changes, that your new card is being ordered, and then you receive your green card. Sometimes it takes 6 months and more, all right? Technically, it can take that long. All right. Hi, Mazi. I have asylum status. My question is, my EAD expired September 2022, but I applied for renewal. Now my employer wants to remove from schedule. They said that 540 days extension has expired. Is that right? Well, your 540 days extension may have expired, perhaps. It's true that now when you submitting for extension of your work permit starting, I believe, October 2023, if I'm not mistaken, there will not be any more 540-day automatic extension. it will be 180 days. There is some date we can check. You stated that you have asylum status or you have asylum pending status. If you have asylum status, you no longer need work permit. You are authorized to work because of your status. You should have went to Social Security Administration and updated your Social Security card. You don't need to worry anymore about the work permits, even though some people still file for them, but you don't need them. If you have asylum pending status, yes, your employer will have to watch out for the expiration of your work permit and your automatic extension. If it's happening that your automatic extension now is expiring, but you still have not received your renewed work permit, contact USCIS, explain to them that you're facing this hardship, explain to them how loss of your job is going to make your life absolutely miserable, and ask them to expedite your renewal of your work permit. Okay? All right, and I'm gonna take the last question for today. Excuse me. How it work if I want to change my court address from Iowa to another state? I have master hearing date in 2025. I didn't file the asylum application yet. Is it to stop my clock for EAD? Also, I didn't apply. Okay. Yes, sir. Moving your case to another state may be considered as a delay caused by applicant. And yes, if you had asylum clock would have stopped. Now, what bothers me is that you're saying that you did not file for your asylum application yet. You know you have only 1 year to do that, regardless of when your hearing date is, guys. 1 year from your entry is very important. If you miss this deadline, then the only thing that you can hope for would be withholding or removal, which is much lesser in terms of benefits status than asylum. Withholding does not lead to a green card. Or, of course, you may say that some sort of exception to 1 year deadline applies to you, but typically you should not be missing 1 year filing deadline. To file for your work permit based on asylum pending, not only you have to file for your asylum, you also have to wait for 150 days to pass from the time after your application is accepted. Okay? So yes, delay probably is going to stop your clock. And, don't forget also, regardless of motion to change venue, you must update court and OPLA about Office of Principal Legal Advisor, which is a government in immigration court, that you changed your address within 5 days of your change of your address. It's very, very important, guys, to do that. Well, listen, thank you very much for your participation. Thank you for joining today. I'm glad my life was not cut off today, but if you noticed, I showed only one picture today on the screen. I didn't switch them around because I was afraid it's going to be cut off, just like we had it within the past 2 weeks. Now, hopefully, you have a little bit more information about what's happening with that immigration reform, which is actually, I would call de-reform, right? Reform is something that makes our life better. This bill, even though some refer to it as immigration reform, it's like the opposite of the reform is bringing us back, Maria. So also don't forget, again, fees are changing, forms are changing. Make sure you are checking how much money you need to send to USCIS and what edition of form you have to use. And if you're looking for a consultation with an immigration lawyer, if you like me, you can please call my number, and we're going to have an appointment where I will review your files and share my thoughts as to what you need to do in your case, a strategy for your case, maybe second opinion, or you can trust me with your case. I love working with people who are in removal proceedings, filing for asylum, for adjustment of status. We just today won one more case. It's the first one this month. Last month in the end, we won an asylum case in court. And you can please call my office. They will be very happy that you call, and they will help you to set up an appointment. You can do it online on my website as well. And please subscribe, share this video, join us next week. We're going to talk about what's going to happen next week. Hopefully, we're going to have some positive news. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you soon.